So with the four theories that you sketched out, those can be talked about in a philosophical context, arguments back and forth and so on. The value then to a business professional is when you are in the midst of dealing with issues of honesty and truth, it's very clarifying for you to know, at least at one level, that one principle could be always tell the truth no matter what. Another principle could be lie or tell the truth depending on what the best results are for the majority. Another might be that your principle just is if you think you can get away with it and it will advantage you, go ahead and lie or tell the truth if that's the best policy in that particular case. And then the fourth would be always tell the truth, right, unless it's a situation of coercion or self-defense, in which case lying is justified. And just clarifying the principles at that level enables business professionals then to see how it would play out differently in the actual situations they find themselves in.
Yes, I think it, and a lot of people are just so confused on this issue. That most of us were brought up under the "thou shalt not kill" approach, lie approach, and they realize there are situations when it's not right to just give away your bottom price or thing, and they feel guilty when they do go ahead and lie. And if you can pick the right theory, the one that makes the most sense, then you don't have to feel that guilt, and you can go on with your...
So you then both have the cognitive clarity that goes along with it, plus also you are comfortable in your own judgment about what the right principle is, right? So then you solve the problems and you feel good about the solutions that you've come up with. Okay, good. Now you mentioned earlier that your approach to honesty, right, in particular, is that one should have a default policy of always telling the truth. As you said, deliver what you can promise and promise only what you can deliver. That serves the individual well. That also serves businesses well as their customers. In your personal experience and in your business experience, why do you think that is the best policy? Because
it works.
All right. Okay. So it works. But what kind of evidence or data can one cite, particularly if one is talking to students about why that policy really is going to be the one that serves them best in the long run?
It's aside from the guilt-free confidence that it gives you up in the head, it is a very practical matter of telling the truth and the entrepreneurs deliver what you promise, because customers will keep coming back. Customers really like that straightforward talk. I had clients when I was working that sometimes I had to hold the phone out to hear because they were yelling over some problem that was going on. But I would come back and say that what the facts are. I will get on it right away and get it taken care of. If you do it, they appreciate that, even though there may have been some complicating factors, and they come back for more. If people are kind of skirting around the issue, making things up on the fly, customers sense it. They know that.
They're not stupid.
And they will a lot of times just take their business elsewhere. They don't announce it, but they just disappear. It's very common with sales reps that if they are, let's say, to use the technical philosophical term, start BSing prospects and clients. Clients know it, and they just leave and go elsewhere. But if you're a straight shooter, salespeople will get most of their business from referrals and from repeat customers.
Okay. The other main part of your talk focused on the epistemological issues and cognitive issues, and certainly that's a set of issues that are near and dear to philosophers' hearts. I wonder what circumstances do we know? I wonder what circumstances is our knowledge partial? In cases where the concepts are complicated, or there's a whole family of closely related things. Drilling oneself and spending a lot of time, as one does in philosophy, in issues of cognitive clarification and definition issues. Your thesis was that that's also empowering in business. Now, your working example here was a great one, right? Involving bribery.
Yes.
And there's a whole network of closely related concepts. You have bribery and greasing palms and perks and
extortion.
extortion.
subordination. That's just
right.
more of a technical legal term.
Good.
And
then you also use the charming example of bribing, right, one's kids in order
her
to
mom
do their
bribes the kids to
Sure.
clean the room. Yeah,
Right.
And the reason I put all these together because first of all, they're textbooks. They will make almost no distinction between them. They refer to almost all of them as bribes. And they all involve some kind of a payment or gift to try and influence other people. And the question is, how do you differentiate all of these?
Right.
And for me, I've always enjoyed the theory of definition. I think probably from first philosophy courses I took, and especially logic, where you really put your mind to figuring out what's called the genus and the differentia, the broad category in which all these different concepts fall, and then looking for the differentia, the item that actually separates them one from another. If you don't do it with this list, bribes and perks and greases and so forth, you could be in some big trouble. Going international, companies make grease payments all the time. The grease payment, I should say, is the idea of greasing the palms or lubricating the machinery. It's talking about bureaucrats to get them to do their normal duties, and it's usually a nominal amount of money. But it's kind of rare in the U.S., so most people are not terribly familiar with that. But there may be guilt, there may be fear of being fined or imprisoned. For a long time, U.S. companies were forbidden to make any kind of payments to companies internationally. And then finally,
But they would be prosecuted back in the United States.
in the United
if they
States.
did. Yes. Okay.
In contrast to, say, German or Italian companies who can actually write on their tax returns useful expenditure, or sometimes they just write bribe.
Right.
And then American companies lose the business; they don't get the contracts.
Okay.
It's now acknowledged that grease payments are okay because they're nominal amounts of money. But the thing is, they all need to be distinguished because you really will get into some trouble. So bribery, all these things are some kind of payment or gift to influence others, but bribery specifically is a covert payment under the table, and the aim is to breach a relation of trust, specifically the owners of the company. So if a sales rep puts money in the pocket of a purchasing manager, the two of them together have cheated the owners of the company.
Okay, so that's some sort of payment to get the person to do something outside of their proper scope of activities. Okay, and the grease payment is a payment to induce someone more expeditiously,
like they're dragging their feet. They're supposed to inspect the packages,
to do something that they should be doing
stamp them,
anyway.
and they're not.
Right.
And they're just kind of surreptitiously or not so surreptitiously holding out the hand.
Okay.
And so they want a few bills to.
Okay, but then you contrast both of those to a perk.
Now perk was like a tip.
Sure.
Company car, taking a prospect to lunch, even Christmas gifts. These are all perks because they're above board.
Okay.
Everyone knows about it, and they are a normal accompaniment of one's job.
Right.
I should say about the Christmas gifts, a lot of companies have rules against gift giving or above a certain amount of money and so forth. Okay. And the primary reason, there is possibly the appearance of bribe. Technically, it's not. But I think the main reason they have this rule is that gifts like this can create disease among other members of the company because it's only certain people who get them, the purchasing people. And like at Christmas, you go into their office and you see these mounds of gifts. They're out on a 2-hour lunch again, and you need to get some answers from them.
So it can be an internal company morale issue. Okay, fine. Now, extortion is a different animal altogether.
Yeah, that's payment under duress. It's threat of force.
All right.
So again, we're back to self-defense. So if there's a real threat of force here, there should not be any moral acrimony over making that kind of payment.
Okay, and then the mother and the child will give you a cookie if you clean up your room.
That's a metaphorical extension.
I see.
So it's not literally a bribe, but we just, by extension, we call it that.
We're sweetening the pot a little bit here.
Right.
All right, so all of these issues of the distinctions of bribery and related phenomenon are interesting philosophically as exercise in cognitive clarification, but they're also important in business ethics and for practicing business professionals because getting those sorted out clearly is going to be very important for companies' internal policies.
Yes.
And also, as you mentioned, when we go to different parts of the world and doing international business where practices in many cases are very different,
Yep.
It's going to be confusing for people.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you have to know that whatever you're doing in business is right.
Okay.
It just clears out the guilt.
Okay. All right. And empowers you also in being able to take on complex situations and
Right.
deal with them,
Yeah.
hopefully effectively. All right. Well, thank you. That discussion of philosophy near to my heart, certainly, and connections to practical business, nicely done. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.